U297CL Levittown.
This is On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross, a weekly recap of the 2021 Philadelphia Flyers from blue line to blue line. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions, Hand and Stone Spa, The Capitol Grill, Pat Dion Beverages, Independence Blue Cross, Chickies and Pete's, and Joseph Anthony Salon and Day Spa. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyers captain Keith Primo.
Well, hate to disappoint everybody, but it's not Keith Primo and Paul Jolovitz. I'm Al Morganti, sitting in for Jolly, and Brad Marsh is with me, sitting in for Keith Primo, I guess.
Wow.
Afternoon, Brad.
Yeah, I guess they didn't get the memo, huh?
Well, I mean, we're actually coming in at a pretty good time because the Flyers are on a bit of a heater when you look at it. And some people will say it's not a great thing that's going on. I was on the air with Scott Hartnell last night, and he kind of put his foot in his mouth before the game. Said, well, maybe this is good. You know, the Florida coming in, they're hot.
Yeah.
And they end up beating Florida. So it's pretty cool to see a team bring up young guys and kind of turn things around.
Yeah, that's the neat thing about it is, I mean, the season that we've had, a win is a win, and let's celebrate a win. And but I think more importantly, right now we can celebrate these wins with the face of the team as we move forward.
Right.
And so it's good, it's exciting, and hopefully the fans can get engaged with the new blood that's in the lineup.
Yep, and we're joined now. We got a new left wing, Mr. Titanium himself, Todd Fedoruk. Good afternoon, Fridge.
How you been?
I'm doing just great. I just telling Brad, it's been a bit of an odd season to kind of get things going here. So they got a little bit of energy going right now, the Flyers.
Well, they got some youth, right? They got some guys injected into the lineup that are looking for jobs, and this is the time when you're looking for jobs. Like if you're in that room right now, you're looking around, I see one guy sticking, Tippett.
Yeah.
That's really the only one, and those guys have to know that, right? They got to understand that. Young, hungry guys coming in looking for spots. That's a good competition, and it should start now. Start now and then roll it into the next season.
Yeah, it looks that way. Well, in addition to that, I guess the goalie, I mean, Hart played unbelievable again last night. I mean, he's just – I'm so frustrated because it was so long to find a goalie, and now this guy landed from heaven. I mean, he's just – I don't think people realize just how good he is because the numbers they don't look that great knockout, but because what's in front of him at times. So, man, I'll tell you, he bounces back from everything right now.
Yeah, he's quietly become, I don't want to say a franchise player by any means, but he's quietly become the leader of that team. And it's been great. And since he arrived, if you think back a number of years ago, should we bring him up? Hexie says no. Should we bring him up? Hexie says no. And then we finally do bring him up, and he's played really good, played outstanding. Then he's had some off games, some bad stretches, et cetera, et cetera. But as you just said, he always seems to bounce back. And that, to me, is a good sign about a goaltender because we've all had goalies that we've played in front of, Fridge, and you've watched enough hockey in your lifetime. The goalie is unbelievable. He lets in the bad goal, and then he's useless. And because mistakes happen, goals happen, bad goals happen, big saves happen. And it's the goalie that you want that can rebound after a bad game, bad goal, whatever.
Yeah, Fridge, you see it too. I mean, no matter what you do, I mean, you're still looking behind you saying, he better be tough.
Bush explained this perfectly. He goes, I'm sitting there. I'm the last line of defense. They got to get through the forwards, then the D, and then get to me. And when they score the goal, everybody looks at me, right? And that's the goalie position.
Yeah. I
seen him, and I got the chance. I was still calling the games down in Allentown with the Phantoms, and it was his first game. It was the first game of the season opener, right?
Right.
He got thrown in, didn't have a good outing, and then that was the thing that I wanted to see. how does he bounce back? This is how's he gonna? And it was lights out. I instantly knew this kid's the real deal. Like he won me over. He won me over with the response to that type of pressure, which is again, those guys have a way. The good goalies, the best goalies, have a way of just either completely disregarding that pressure, or they can let it roll off their back. It doesn't bother them, and I think he's got those parts.
Well, with what Fridge said, the last line of defense, and Al, you covered the team, the 84-85 Flyers. We had an unbelievable year. We weren't expected to do anything, but people often ask me about that team, and we were a young team. But what made us a good team that year was Pelle Lindbergh.
Yeah.
Because, let's face it, we had 7 guys under the age of 21. We had a young team. Can I say an underachieving team? Because the Flyer teams the previous year and the previous year, we weren't very good.
No.
We made the playoffs, but we still made mistakes early on in that season. But Pelle, last line of defense, as you said, he was there to cover up for our mistakes. And because he stopped the puck, it allowed us to grow and mature into a pretty damn good team.
Yeah, I've covered a lot of goalies.
Yeah.
And it's funny, that first team I covered, Brad, you were on it. You were a rookie. 78, I think, 78, 79.
Yeah.
That's how far back I go with Brad. So
Atlanta Flames.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I was covering the Atlanta, believe it or not, the Atlanta Flames. And they were going into the playoffs, I think, against Toronto.
Toronto the first year, New York Rangers the second year.
Yeah, so before the series begins, Fridge, you're going to love this. Danny Bouchard, the goalie.
Bouch.
He comes up to me. Hey, Hal. You know, he's got the friend, hey, Hal, I'm over here. Okay, Hal.
Hey, Hal.
What do you? Yeah, he goes, I just want you to know, in case we lose, it's not always the goalie's fault. I'm like, what? How are we going into this series?
Yeah. Holy moly.
Oh my God.
And there's a bench clearing brawl that first game.
Bench clearing brawl the first game. It was wild. It was wild. He was. It's so important when I watch teams. And I've always said there's some goalies that you play for, and some goalies you just play in front of. And
Bouch.
He was you playing front.
He never let a bad goal in.
Well,
In his whole career, he never let a bad goal in. Skip Lake Stone, that was his favorite.
The relationship was just unbelievable. And then, believe it or not, the next year, Fridge, I come to Philly because they wanted somebody to be a little tougher on the team. They'd won those cups, and so they go 35 in a row without a loss. It was going to be tough on them. But I remember we went back to Atlanta early in the year, and guess who scored a goal against the Flyers? In one of the only game they lost in like.
No, actually, that was we beat them 9-3. And after that, they went on the 35 game unbeaten streak. It was my first NHL goal.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. UP took down the 35.
Yeah, and then it was the goal was against Phil Muir.
Yeah.
And I love speaking in a banquet setup, and whenever there's a goalie there, I always say I scored one of my 21 goals against you, and they start twitching. But Phil Muir never believed it, and we have there's a Flyer website out there that has every box score. We now have it. We bought the rights to it. We now have it on our alumni website.
I didn't know that. That's great.
But
that's
anyhow,
a great little nugget.
I looked back and I found the game sheet, and I printed it out and I mailed it to Phil Muir and said, "There you go, buddy. There's the proof."
I remember it. I remember it well. It was like, oh my God, is this for real?
Yeah.
Because I went down and covered it. So this is unbelievable. They just rolled. And that Flames team had some tough guys. Willie Platt, Filipoff. They had some tough guys.
Ken Houston was
a big team, and then the Flyers just railed it off. So, but the goalies, I watch. You cover this sport enough, and it's like you're covering two sports. You're covering the hockey team and the goaltending situation.
Yeah. Especially in Philly. Yeah. It's a magnified role. It's. I mean, how many did we go through just for the cup run? Was it 9?
Oh my
9
God.
or 10?
It was incredible when
still got there, but it's like I don't know what it is.
Now you're blessed with
We've had some characters. Remember Czech Manek? There's one you play in front of.
Czech Manek. But now you've got the. Like, I hear all the rumors about, well, you could trade him for a whole lot. And I'm like, oh, man, after everything you did to search for a goaltender, I don't care. I'd wait it out with him no matter how long the rebuild takes.
Yeah, make him good. Make him play here.
Well,
Break
he's
the
still going
curse.
to be young
Yeah.
in goalie years when the rebuild is done.
Yeah.
I have confidence that the rebuild will be successful. So what is the rebuild? 3 years? 4
maybe
years? Whatever.
3.
And Carter's still in his prime.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%,
And
yeah.
he seems to like it here, so I would be surprised. And then the other one you mentioned, Tippett. I watched Tippett, and the straightaway speed. He's already. It looks to me like he draws penalties as well as anybody I've seen on the Flyers. For not diving even, just drawing a penalty.
You're going back to Billy Barber.
but there are guys that I mean, Konechny will
Yeah.
play that role sometimes.
Yeah.
But Tippett, to me, just draws the penalties because I don't think they respect his speed yet.
Yeah, they get caught. They get
Yeah.
caught. I think he is deceivingly fast, and his stride is weird. It's wide,
Yes.
so he doesn't look like he's as fast, and he's steps beside you.
He's
and then
got
they're-
speed with the puck too. There's a
Yeah.
lot of players out there that can skate fast, but then you cut that in I don't know what in half or
Yeah.
Call it Fedoruk
75%
speed.
with
put the puck on his stick, and it's like
Yep.
moving through molasses.
And take that
Yeah.
shot through defenseman's legs, which is not easy to do, and he's done it like 4 times.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's one of the real good spots for the Flyers that they landed this guy.
So
isn't it?
after all, it wasn't a bad trade for Giroux. It looks like.
Well, it looks like a good trade.
Yeah, that's
for after
amazing, yeah.
last year when it was like he wouldn't go anywhere else.
Did we get a pick as well? with
I
him?
think second. I think he did get a pick as well. I don't
Yeah.
know what they did with it afterwards, but they did, and it's like because they didn't want to. Well, you look at what happened this year. It really looks good because Kane didn't get much because he would only go to one place,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that cuts out your ability to move people. They're
That's what I've always said too with an organization. We all get the junior draft and the amateur scouts looking at the colleges and the junior players, but nowadays with the salary caps and so on, and so many kids being drafted as an 18-year-old, and if they get drafted to the wrong team, they don't get to flourish and grow and mature. Your pro scouting staff are vital because they have to watch the pro hockey games and find the Tippetts of the
Yep.
world. And
Diamonds in the rough, yeah.
Exactly. And if you peel the onion back, a number of years ago when he was drafted, he was a highly sought after,
Yes.
thought of player, and
Yeah.
he got lost in this 18-year-old draft shuffle. And so credit to our pro scouting staff who watched him, found him, and recommended. He's a player that we should.
Yeah,
Trade for him.
and you look at it. I was talking to a scout Saturday, and we were talking about Morgan Frost. And the scouts are always asking everybody everything. They can't ask enough people. Like if you're just walking through, they'll ask you what you think of somebody. And it was like more. And I said I don't really know what to think. I said there's nights I really like them. I said, but you know what? If I was a pro scout, I'd look at this, and I like John Tortorella as a coach. But there are going to be certain guys who probably aren't going to reach their peak under a certain style. And that's not anything against that, but there are certain coaches that coach a certain way. And I said, if you have an organization that plays another way, this could play out completely differently for what you do. So there are so many guys to make a judgment on right now. And I'm hoping I'm kind of hoping Danny Briere gets named full time because he's worked at it for a long time.
Yeah, he's followed that's what people are like behind the scenes. I don't know how many people know that he started the way that you would start anything, right at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's like I remember when he started. It was with the Maine Mariners, right when they just started out there, and that's how you learn. You learn down there, and you come up, and if you stick and stay as long as he has, he's got some pedigree in the game too. GM is. I don't ever want that job. It is a hard job, and we're coming into a rebuild. That's not a word that we've heard here a lot in the history.
It's not in the dictionary.
It's not in the Flyers dictionary.
hear it. It's not in the
Rebuild
dic-
is not part of what we do, but it's obviously necessity right now.
It is, but I tell people when they talk about a hockey rebuild, it's not like basketball, because even if you lose in hockey, usually it's one goal. I mean, if you just play hard,
Yeah.
it's not like what the Sixers went through.
Trust the process.
When you say a rebuild, look what's happened here. Teams at Arizona, it's still a good product. If you play hard and you rebuild. It's not like you're just throwing up a white flag on the actual game nights. On the actual game nights, and I don't know what you think of this tank thing, but if you say tank, and even if you finish dead last, you have a 75% chance of not getting the top pick. So, I mean, really, I don't want to play with those odds.
Exactly, and I hate the word tank because it's not fair. And the part of a rebuild is creating that character in the dressing room. And all of a sudden, we're throwing in the towel. What's that say to the Tippets? What's that say to the young players who we're all very excited about? What do you mean we're throwing in the table? I'm playing for ice time next year.
I agree with that.
And then more importantly, what's it say to the fan base? Oh, come to the game tonight, pay for parking, buy all this beer and food and popcorn. Oh, by the way, we're going to lose.
Yeah, we're bringing the alumni out of retirement. Marshy's going back on the ice. Grandfathered in with no Bucky.
Yeah. All right, we get back with Brad, and we're going to discuss Redwater, Alberta.
Wow.
Or Redwater, Manitoba.
Alberta.
Is it Alberta?
Yeah.
Time of 94. Oh, I don't have to do that. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? We're going to a break. We'll be back in a minute right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage. Like LeComte, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
I'm always striving to live my healthiest life, so I need a health plan that has my back. With Independence Blue Cross, I get access to the largest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free virtual doctor visits 24/7. Plus, with premiums as low as $0 per month, I can stay on top of my health and keep my budget in check. Independence has given me coverage I can count on, and they'll do the same for you. Explore your coverage options and enroll today at ibx.com.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyers captain Keith Primo.
All right, once again, Brad Marsh here with Todd Fedoruk, Al Morganti, sitting in for Mr. Jolovitz. We're at the Chickies and Pete's in Marlton, New Jersey. Beautiful place. And I'd never looked you up on Wikipedia, Fridge, Todd. I don't know if I could just...
Fridge. Everybody.
Fridge.
I only get Todd when I get in trouble.
So I'm just going through. I've traveled throughout Canada a lot, and I've never been to Redwater. But interestingly, I just clicked on and said notable people. You're the only one.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
is there a sign? Is there a sign outside the city?
The only one.
Yeah. Well, check the odds on this. So, the odds on this: Kent Manderville.
Okay.
Moved into town, but he wasn't born there. The Redwater. Yeah, I was born. The only one notable. There's only 2,500 people. Yeah.
Usually, you go down. There's like at least 6 or 7. I'm like, wait a minute.
No.
This is it.
Yeah.
You are.
Small town, Western Canada, and I'm the only notable person from there.
It says, and it also is the home of the world's tallest oil.
Oil derrick.
Oil rig or whatever.
Yeah, all the rig pigs. So how do you think I learned how to fight? Those guys that are turning pipes up there, they have big forearms, and they like to go to the other towns and get in fights up there.
So how do you even put together a squad?
12 kids. That's all you need. You need 12. So I had there's 2 groups of 12, and I was born in February. So one year I played with the older age group, the one age ahead of me, and the next year I played with the younger group, and there's 12 boys on this team, 12 boys on this team. When we got older, around 12, some guys didn't play. So we combined towns. We went to Thorhild, said, hey, you guys got 6 guys? So then it was...
So he's a notable person for Thorhild.
Yeah, Thorhild too, yeah. We had to combine towns, and that's how you played. You played against the other town. We played Gibbons, Bruderheim, Thorhild, Radway.
Whoa. Man.
Sometimes we went into the city and played with them city slickers. Usually wiped the tail with them.
I didn't know this would be an Alberta tourism promotion as well.
And they're all 20 minutes from each other, and they're all the same size. Has 12.
I love it out there. I've been out there a lot. I can't get my wife to. I wanted to move to Calgary, and she won't go. So I'm not going there. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
But a lot of people stay here. Obviously, you've stayed here. Brad's been here you've been here forever, Brad.
Well, I just moved back.
You were in Ottawa.
I was in Ottawa.
You owned Ottawa for a bit.
Yeah, and. So no, I retired in '93 after my first year with the Senators. My only year with the Senators, but that was their first year back in the league, and we decided to stay there because we had 4 kids at the time, and we wanted to grow up like I did, playing hockey outside and so on and so on. And now they're all grown up, got their adult jobs, and we decided to move back here. My wife's from here, and so we moved back here, and it's been great.
Oh yeah, and right in the alumni, you guys are both involved with the alumni, which has become an important piece to get back, I guess, with the Flyers. And
yes,
it's because you for so long they've depended on guys from the '70s, whatever, to see the other generations come up and become part of it.
Yeah, and when we do our alumni events, we like to say we have alumni from every generation of Flyers hockey there, which is cool, and it's really neat to sit back and watch the stories flow. And what's funny is you get the old guys from the 60s, 70s telling stories, and they're not that much different from our stories in the 80s, Fridge's stories in the 90s and the 2000s. The stories are all the same, and but it's a lot of fun. Our alumni is very active. When I retired in '93, I started the Senators alumni because it was a new franchise and they had no alumni, and so we started it up there, and it's just so much fun to do the alumni events and invite guys back and just see them reconnect. Or how many interviews have you done over the years? Oh, what do you miss about the game? Oh, the dressing room. So when we have an alumni game, the highlight of the game is sitting in the dressing room, and if we have an event to do after that game, I always just take the beer out of the room.
Yeah.
Because if you keep the beer flowing in the room, the guys aren't going to leave.
They're going to get trapped there.
Yeah, the guys aren't going to leave. So now it's great, and we actually have a great event coming up April 30th, the Walk, Run, and Stroll. It's a fundraiser for the Flyers Warriors, our veteran hockey team, and it's at Washington Crossings Park, and Fridge is going to be there. There's rumors that he might run as opposed to walk.
I've been working. I've been training.
Okay, good. But
I'm not supposed to win it or anything. Right? I don't have to come in at a certain time. Jonesy time, right?
Yeah, Jonesy time. But we'll have a lot of alumni guys there, and of course all the Warriors and their families will be there. So it's a great event.
And the Warriors, for those that's the
disabled veterans, yeah. And that's been a wonderful program. We started that with a simple learn to skate, and it's grown into, we almost got enough for 5 teams now.
Wow.
And they're all standing disabled, and our teams are of varying ability, and our fastest growing group right now is their learn to play. We got 40-year-old veterans coming out. They've never skated, never played the game before, and it's so much fun to be on the ice with them and see them holding onto the boards just like a 5-year-old.
Yes,
it's a lot of fun.
I've gone to a couple, and one of the players I played with in Medford on the ponds before he went over and joined.
Yeah.
And now he's playing there. So that's impressive. And it's going on now. It looks like it's caught on throughout the league.
Yes, there's 39 Warrior programs throughout the U.S. Some have an affiliation with the NHL team, but most of them are just in a town, big or small or whatever. And there's a group of veterans that play hockey, and then they get together and they form their Warrior hockey club in that area. And so there's several tournaments throughout the U.S. throughout the year, and we go into the Warrior tournaments, and they have a national championship, the Warrior Classic it's called, and happy to say that our Warrior teams, we've had 5 national championships with the various tier groups that we have, and it's great fun.
Well, and
winning's winning, man.
Yeah,
it's
winning.
Great.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and winning is that's why with the Flyers I was happy to, even though some people want better chances at the lottery. I think it's better to have some wins to feed off.
Especially when season ticket renewal.
Yeah. Get some wins.
No, winning is the main thing, and I say in the office, because I do work with the Flyers as well, as you know, but what about this and what about, hey, winning solves everything. We start to win, all these little nitpicky problems that happen in any office workspace, they go away pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
Winning solves everything, and you got to win, and it's going to be a long summer of various activities from the front office standpoint. Mm-hmm. We got to go into the front office not on a losing streak, hoping to have a 10% chance to get the first pick versus a 9% chance. We have to go into the summer on a positive note with some wins under our belt, and then we can do all the summer great things we do in the summertime.
Yeah, there should be an exuberance about the opportunity for the whole team, for the franchise. That's the thing. I remember we talked about with all the people that do some of the community stuff. There's a lot of new people there.
Right.
And there's a lot of younger people there. There's a lot of people that are probably new to even hockey and the environment and the culture. They've never experienced what it's like when we're winning. You don't know what it's like here in springtime when everyone's got a flag on their car. Like, it's not a bandwagon. It's just the Flyers fans come out and things get easy. You need to hit your numbers. You hit them very easily. Like, you get a good sense of how good it can be and how important the fan base is, how important the experience is at the rink when you're winning.
Well, to just have a loud building. I work with a woman now. She's from Florida. And a couple of times we've gone down there, and it's been loud.
Yeah.
And I said, this used to be every night.
Oh,
every night.
From start to warm up to
warm up to what went on, and now you're looking at it, but it's a far different animal than it used to be. And I'm wondering, you guys, what you think of the. I happen to love the skill stuff that's going on. Fridge, I know you made a living with your paws.
I always wanted to be one of those guys. Yeah. That's the best kept secret.
He was in Redwater.
Oh yeah, yep. Amongst those 12, yeah, I was good.
But I watch it, and the kids with the Michigan, the kid in Anaheim that's just lighting it up. I watch Hughes in New Jersey, and I can't believe I watch McCarr. It looks like I never thought I'd say somebody might be better than Orr, and it's like he's right there, and the skill level to be able to move the puck, to pass through the legs the way they do, it's just it's remarkable to me, and I actually think people will go to watch that as much as the physical stuff.
Well, what I'll say about that is, yes, there's no doubt the players are faster, more skilled, et cetera,
yeah.
But along with the skill and the precision passing and so on, you still have to have things that excite the crowd. And my one comment when I sit there and watch the game is I say, there's no anticipation in the crowd. Like when Dave Brown stepped on the ice, there was an anticipation that something was going to happen. When Pavel Bure picked up the puck in Vancouver, there was an anticipation he was going to go end to end. When Bobby Orr got the puck, there was an anticipation. And right now in the game, not just the Flyers game, but in the game in general, at times it becomes so perfect because of the skill. Yeah. There's nothing that gets fans excited. And I would, somewhere along there's got to be a little bit of a hybrid. And we're in the middle of the Flyers Cup, which is the high school hockey championships. Oh my goodness, you go there. There's more hitting in that game than there is some of the NHL games. To me, the rules have gone too strict and taken away the body contact. And I'm not saying goonism, I'm not saying brawling and all that kind of stuff. Okay, take the fighting out of the game if you choose, but you still have to allow them to hit. You still have to allow them to use their stick to a certain degree. If you give a guy a chop in the shin pads, what's that going to do to the overall effect of the game? He's gone to the penalty box for 2 minutes for slashing or whatever, and I just think the game is too clean and too perfect right now.
Well, it is clean.
Yeah. I'm always going to be an advocate for intense competition, and I think that a byproduct of truly intense competition is physical play. You have to get pissed off to play hockey. The minute you can't get pissed off anymore, you're not in the right sport and you're not doing the right things, because that's what it takes to play at that level. And if you're not playing at that level, it's not enjoyable. People can see when, especially in Philly, you can't hide here and you can't hide in hockey. And I'm not saying that the work ethic isn't there, but the ability to create some sort of separation and skill, like you see the same thing, right? The separation of skill, and those talented guys, they're awkward, right? Like Ovechkin, awkward, right? Even like some of the more skilled guys, Frost, they're smaller, but they're awkward in their skating style. Giroux, he was an awkward player. They stand out with skill set. The rest, very similar. They're very robotic. You need that meat to create a lot of the mistakes and the chaos out there, right? The guys that are just playing with their heart on their sleeve and they're kind of creating those elements, they create a little bit more, I guess, excitement, because there is a tendency to more mistakes, right?
You don't
and
know
they're
what's
out there
happen.
to do their thing, which is a lot for the physical players, is intimidate. And I think it has come back. I don't think it will ever leave the game. I don't think the players and the game itself want it to leave. And any guy that's playing in the NHL right now loves the ability to say, I play in a game that allows sanctioned bare knuckle fighting. Yeah. It doesn't allow it. It's obviously a rule, but there's a sense of pride that we do that, and we do it a certain way. And I think that kind of got lost, and that's why that rule needed to adapt, because the game is faster. The guys can't keep up, and if you're a liability defensively, you're not useful. The new tough guy is a guy like Tom Wilson. Yeah. He can do whatever he wants out there. That's going to spawn more tough guys like that, because everybody does still like that element. I think it has picked up a little bit in this last year, but the league has to kind of let us play and keep the skill set of taking a check as part of a hockey player, a good hockey player, the ability to keep your head up.
The one rule they're talking about changing or adding or whatever drives me crazy. A good body check,
right?
And then all of a sudden the teammate has to come in and challenge the guy that did that. Drives me crazy. There's no room for that. Like, take the hit.
That's it.
And if you're the one that got hit, take his number and get him back somewhere along the. Like, we played with guys that would hold a grudge for years, and they finally get a chance to hit the guy back, and they hit him back.
All right, we get back. We'll get more with Fridge, and we'll get more with Brad Marsh on the other side.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage. Like LeComte, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
At Independence Blue Cross, we believe in giving you the tools you need to pursue your healthiest life. From premiums as low as $0 per month to health discounts and cash rewards, it pays to have coverage with Independence. With the strongest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free 24/7 virtual doctor visits, you can feel confident that quality care is always within reach. Learn more about your coverage options at ibx.com.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyers captain Keith Primo.
All right, we're back. Chickies and Pete's in Marlton. I'm Al Morganti. I am with Brad Marsh and Todd Fedoruk talking about the Flyers, the entire NHL. I guess we should look also at pretty good landscape in the NHL right now. Bruins are on a roll. Florida lost last night, but they're in a playoff drive. How important would it be to have the Leafs actually move ahead in a playoff and even maybe, I want to say, even win a Stanley Cup, which would be remarkable to me?
Well, it would make a lot of fans in Canada happy, and it would make a lot of fans in Canada unhappy because they're the Dallas of the North.
Yep.
And but there's a lot of diehard, longtime Leaf fans that have been suffering since 1967, and personally, I think it's great. I played in Toronto when they were at their worst, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Harold Ballard, senile old Harold Ballard owned the team and just did everything to run the team into the ground as long as he made his money. He used to check. He used to be in the dressing room all the time, and at that time, he owned the team and it was privately traded on the stock market and all that. He used to go check himself into the hospital. And the stock would go up because everyone thought he was going to die. Then he'd check himself out of the hospital. And anyhow, and I'll never. Toronto was my team as a kid growing up, and I'll never forget the first time that I put on the Maple Leaf. Mm-hmm. It was a very, very special moment. It was in the Boston Garden, mm-hmm. And I went from Toronto, from Philly, and they're so hungry for a winning team, and it's quite ironic that they've had one of the highest payrolls for a long time and some of the best players in the game, and they have not been successful or even close to being successful. personally, I think it's great for hockey if the Leafs are a strong franchise, and I think it would be real good for Canada to see them at least win the first round and then see what happens after that.
Be nice for if you're Canadian. They haven't advanced anybody. Edmonton a couple of years ago, but really to get when's the last Cup a Canadian team won? Was it Montreal?
1994?
93? 93?
Yeah. Well, the Flames were in the final the one time, and Edmonton was in the final, and I think that's about it.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And, the 7 franchises in Canada are all very strong. Attendance is very strong. Their profitability is very strong. And those 7 franchises are a big, big plus to the strength or the wellness of the National Hockey League overall, because there's a lot of U.S. teams that are well under the average attendance mark. So anyhow, I think it would be great. I smile, all the stories. There's a lot of comedians in Canada would have to change their whole their whole comic
whole
routine.
shtick.
Yeah, their whole stick, for heaven's sakes. That's the one joke that makes the round all the time to the Leaf fans.
Yeah.
You were in diapers the last time you won the Stanley Cup, and you're now back in diapers now, and they still haven't won another Stanley Cup. So, anyhow.
With Toronto, it seems like if Toronto wins, and this is, you could probably say this for Montreal, but I think it's more for Toronto. Toronto wins, hockey wins, right? If the city of Toronto, the franchise wins, hockey wins the Stanley Cup that year. And I don't like saying that. I don't like saying that as like, because we have history with the Maple Leafs. We have strong history with them. When playoffs were playoffs, you knew it because the Flyers in Toronto were playing in playoffs. It was loud. It was painful. It was a great place to play. But even all the guys I played with, they always hold, like if they're from the area, they always hold a little place in their heart for that Leaf.
That was so special the first time you played on Hockey Night in Canada, because there wasn't cable TV when
Don Cherry,
and you played in Maple Leaf Gardens. It was something special. But an interesting fact about Toronto itself is they're Maple Leaf fans. Other hockey teams that have played in there at the same time, the junior team is a no-go. They had, although their minor league team is playing there now, but for years and years and years, crickets in the crowd. Like, they don't support anything but the Maple Leafs.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can't call them Hockey Town Canada or whatever.
It's not like in Boston, there's BCBU. All that.
Are you surprised the Bruins are dominating like they are?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I didn't think so, but getting Bergeron and Krejci at the number that they have, and they finally paid McAvoy. They finally paid a guy what he was worth. It took 25 years to get that, and the goaltender's been terrific. But I look at hockey, no matter. This is why they say just get in. I don't care what your record is. If they drop Florida in the first round. Bobrovsky has one of his games. There's a whole series. Just get in. You really can get wrecked. If they win, they set a record for points. I covered a Flyers team that went 35 in a row, and they didn't win the cup.
Yeah.
What do you think about the playoffs? Do you think they got to change it? Because there's a lot of comments in Canada when I'm talking to my Canadian buddies. Is like Toronto at the trade deadline, they've known they've been playing Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay forever. And it can't really change. And so they were making deals so they could beat Tampa and go to the second round. They're not necessarily making a deal to win the Stanley Cup. They're making
they got to get through that round.
You got to get through that round. And so I don't know. I think it might be time to go back to 1 versus 8, so you can have some playoff races right to the end and some changes in the who's playing who
you're
and all that kind of stuff.
I'd be all for it. My favorite year was the year they played 16.
16, yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Because you had a balanced schedule. Now I like the rivalries that go on, so I do like that. And now I watched the baseball replay last night, Trout and Ohtani, and everybody says, well, hockey should get back to its international competitions. I've covered all sorts of Olympics. I don't know what you gain from it. I honestly, if I was a player, I would desperately want to play in that. But as a league, I don't understand why you would why you'd want to stop to have that. I just think the Stanley Cup playoffs are better.
Yeah, and the thing is back in the day when I was a kid growing, you hated the Russians.
Yeah.
And you hated the other European teams.
Even the Americans.
And so there was something when you played them. But now it's a love fest. Everybody loves everybody, and the teams are there's so many Europeans over here now. I don't think the hate is there, and I don't think the fans. Excuse me. I don't think the fans hate the enemy, if I can say that.
Well, how can you if Ovechkin's your poster boy?
Yeah,
your line mates.
Exactly.
Your line mates
I agree. I mean, I think they should be in the Olympics, but that's every 4 years, and to stop the league for 2 weeks in the middle of the season, it's a
the easy fix for that is to play it in the summer.
Yeah,
be simple enough.
Yeah,
it's indoors.
I think they should let the collegiate athletes go
let back in the
it's the product is good enough.
Yeah,
for sure. And I think that's the Olympics. It kind of just seems like that's the better path, right? Professionals outside of Olympics and professional hockey. I liked it too, and it was like that. You get the Americans and the Canadians all at that young age.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they do, but I'm afraid that they're going to go back to it and shut down the league. I've never understood it. All right, we'll be back on the other side. More from Friggy and from Brad Marsh.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage. Like LeComp, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
I'm always striving to live my healthiest life, so I need a health plan that has my back. With Independence Blue Cross, I get access to the largest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free virtual doctor visits 24/7. Plus, with premiums as low as $0 per month, I can stay on top of my health and keep my budget in check. Independence has given me coverage I can count on, and they'll do the same for you. Explore your coverage options and enroll today at ibx.com.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jalovitz and former Flyers captain Keith Primo.
All right, we're back again. Jolly and Keith will be back next week. It's Al Morganti here at Chickies Pete's in Marlton with Todd Fedoruk and Brad Marsh going over the entire NHL and specifically the Flyers as they go into the final 10, 12 games of the regular season. We'll see where they go from here, what they do, who stays, who goes. We already know that Tippett's probably going to be one of the mainstays, and we'll see who else is going to be who's going to be on that roster next year. And I asked, have you ever seen a coach with as much input as Tort seems to have on what's gone on here? And I think it's kind of they needed a mirror held up to sometimes, the mirror held up to what's going on. But man, John Tortorella really seems to have a lot of clout in the judging a player if he belongs or not on a team.
I've always heard this about Tortorella. He's hard on you. He'll challenge you, but he's really fair and he's honest. And I've heard that from playing in Tampa, from Marty, and Marty St. Louis. Not necessarily the prototypical type of guy that fits his style, but they won under his style. And his style is basically the embodiment of the traditional brand of hockey. Play the game hard, win all the battles, win loose pucks. And it's clear, if you don't do those things, you don't get to play. Like, I like his approach. And I really like it. I think I was worried about it here because our media, like, how's he going to respond?
Yeah, well, right? he's a treat there.
Yeah, I love him there.
But it's, well, you got to say, I do the post-game show. We can't wait to see what Tortorella's going to say. But he is honest about things. And I do think, Brad, you needed to hear some of this stuff right now.
Yeah, he was the perfect hire for the Philadelphia Flyers, and I've never met him. I met him very briefly at the start of the season for the first time. He came in and spoke to all the staff, and he spoke to all the staff, and it was wonderful. It was exactly what our staff needed to hear, and he was tremendous. And a lot of you judge people not so much in the world of sports on what the media says about them, or the fans sitting up here and they're yelling down and all that. You read about you judge them by what your teammates say about them. The guys, I never played for them, but you talk to this person, or you talk to the trainer that had him. I love him. I love him. I love him. I haven't heard one player say a bad word about him. And I think he's done a tremendous job. I think our dressing room was soft. It was soft for years and years and years, and I think he's hit the reset button. And the best thing is we talk at the start of the show about all these young kids and the talent. The main thing is they're learning how to play and how to compete in the game right now. So I don't know how long he's going to coach, but
I think this is his last rodeo.
Yes, but he'll be here for a number of years. How many years, I don't know. But the seeds that he's planting this year will last a long time. And we got a great guy down in with the Phantoms in Lappy as well. He's teaching these kids down there, and so they're learning the game and how to play the game. And I don't necessarily mean X's and O's. They're learning how to play and compete in the game. And so when they come up, boom, they're Flyers.
Yeah, and they play much more defensive. I mean, there's some defensive responsibility, it looks like. And I got to say, I think when I look at this, the job he's done with Ristolainen is probably the best job of any player I've seen so far. The difference in his game is tremendous. He's not jumping. He always had the energy, but it looks like he's a very controlled defenseman right now.
Yeah, once again, you read the paper, and there's so many people that dislike Ristolainen. And I watch the game, and I really don't have a problem with him. Yeah, he does this, maybe this and this, but I think he's played well this year. And
yeah, this year he's played, but I think probably people look at it because it's so hard anymore to separate the player from the salary.
That's good. That was never a problem back in our era. And
well, because of the salary cap, it's like, well, we spent all this money here, and you can't do this. And,
he's making this much money. He should be good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess what Tortorella's done is, I guess money is out the window. It doesn't come into the equation at all.
That's correct. Yeah. He's going to play the players that he wants to play, regardless of what their contract says. And like I said, many times he's done a great job. He was a perfect coach, and I look forward to next year. I'm looking forward to next year already.
Yeah, I am too. He's a guy he's going to implement the tradition or the identity of the team and franchise that's there, right? That's kind of been his calling card everywhere he's been. He's re-implemented in Columbus a structure of work and creating an identity there. Here, he knows what our identity is. There's an intimidation factor, and I think he's masterful at finding a way to, I guess, reinvent that in today's game, because he knows that's our identity. Like, he understands the tradition. He said it early on when he came here. This is what's the word? Nostalgic town. And it's steeped in history, and there's tradition here that I think is lacking. Like, he said something along those lines. I don't want to quote him verbatim, but yeah, he was spot on. What we are and what we're about and our identity as a franchise and organization, it's an intimidation thing. We can't ever lose that. We just have to find a way to use it in today's game, because it's not beating up guys. It's a different element.
Yeah, I think with Torts being here, I think it's going to go, the culture that he's creating is going to go a long way in us having the ability to sign free agents. Because there was a period of time that everybody wanted to play with the Flyers.
Yeah.
Got away from that over the last number of years. We had our last event, Friday Night Fights. We had Matthew Barnaby in town.
Oh, my God.
And Barnaby was priceless. I hate you, Flyer fans, blah, 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 blah. A couple adjectives in there. But he also said, I would have given anything to play here at some point during my career. And I think with the groundwork that Torts is doing now, we're going to have the ability to lure or to sway a lot of free agents here, because a lot of free agents, they want to go to a place where they have a chance to win. Yeah, money's important, but at the end of the day, they're going to make their money, but they want to go to a place that's a good hockey environment.
And I think also they want to go to a place that's packed.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
A franchise that has that swagger.
Because I even know players coming in, because of what's gone on the last few years, they'll ask us, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
We need another hour.
What happened? Like, for the warm up, because they actually, the opposing, they'd come in, they look forward to the warm up to get yelled at. It's like, what happened? But it turns. Look at the Phillies. It took 6 months to fill the place.
Yeah.
To just to catch fire.
Winning solves everything.
Yeah.
And the excitement will come back. We're going to start scoring goals. We're going to start winning games. Hopefully there's a little scuffle or a fight mixed in there, a couple of body checks, and the fans will go crazy, and it'll be back.
Yeah.
But you're right. Back in the day, man, the bowl was packed for warm-up. And but not so much anymore. And that's partly due to the Wells Fargo Center is such a great place now.
It's too much food.
Too much food, too many things to do, and so on. But anyhow, it's things are positive, and I just look for the excitement to continue
Torts
to
is
grow.
a player GM too. Like that's. I'm not to take anything away from Danny, but Torts has been around a few franchises, a few builds, and
I think Danny is one of those guys that will listen, input. When you come up and have the background that he has running teams, I think you're more likely to listen to some opinion.
Yeah.
To have let's have everybody get involved in this a little. But I don't think that he won't. If he is the GM, I think even when he played the game, he'd stick his stick right in your teeth. Because the little guy, I mean, he was pretty tough.
Little angel.
Run around, and then he would just bury you with that. So I don't think he's going to be afraid to. He's going to be afraid to do that at all.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that. So I think better days are on the horizon, and I certainly think the people really have really looked at Tortorella and said, he could be the guy to kind of turn this thing around.
Yeah.
All right, so that's today's edition. Once again, I think Jolly will be back next week. Paul Jolovitz with Keith Primo, I guess. Right, but we've decided
maybe Brad Marsh.
Maybe Brad Marsh, and the most important person ever from Redwater, Alberta. And still, you can go to Wikipedia. I am not making this up. Go to Wikipedia, look up Redwater, Alberta, and there's a little button there. It'll say notable, and it says people. but there's not people. It's one person, and it's
Notable person.
It's Todd.
Fridge is going to go home and show
I'm
his
gonna go.
wife.
Yeah, I'm
Show
gonna
his
go.
wife
Honey,
and kids. Look
yep,
at that.
you made it. You
hit the
married a
lottery.
real winner.
You
hit
might
the lottery.
be the only town in Canada where you're the only notable person. You should have a statue. You should have a statue next to the world's biggest oil.
Did you have your picture up in the co-op there?
I'm not famous for being the only notable person. I'm famous for being the only notable person.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us right here at Chickies and Pete's in Marlton, New Jersey. Next week, Jolly will be back with Keith Primo, or maybe Brad Marsh. We'll see what happens. Thanks for listening to On the Ice.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Trenton, and now heard as well on FM at 107.3 FM, W297CL, Levittown.
The crown jewel of Lower Bucks, 1490 WBCB.